5-10 turning stone. Okay, go ahead. Yep.
Yes, sir. So we're playing about 8K effective.
Okay.
Um, I am on the button, and like I said, it's 5-10. So the under the gun straddle is on to 20. It pretty much was every hand. Everybody was straddling to 20 bucks, except I skipped a couple times.
So straddle under
The
the
under
gun.
the gun
Straddle under the gun.
under the gun straddle. Yep,
Okay.
yep, to 20 bucks.
Okay.
So under the gun plus one, who has about 12.5K, he opens to 75, and it folds to me on the button. I have nine of hearts, nine of clubs. Um,
Hero on button, 9 of hearts, 9 of clubs. Okay. Uh-huh.
so I decide to overcall on the button. Just figured I can mix in, some three bets on the button, but also I felt comfortable with overcalling on the button just because the blinds were not exactly the most aggressive players at the table.
Well, you're
So I felt
not
comfortable actually overcalling.
you're not overcalling, right? You're just calling, right?
Or yeah, calling. Yeah, sure.
Just overcalling usually means like it would go raise call and then you would be calling, right?
Yes,
That's
sir.
that's what I mean by overcall. So plus one
Yeah.
who has you covered 8K effective. He opens to 75. You call on the button with 9 of hearts, 9 of clubs. Okay.
hmm
Okay.
Um, so after I call the small blind, who's got about 10.5K, he cold three bets to 250. The under the gun
That's
plus
kind of
one makes the
small. That's
call.
kind of small, right?
I thought it was really small too.
Yeah.
It was a bizarre play. The guy that was in the small blind to my immediate left he was playing very strange. Really, he could have been doing that with any two cards, and that's kind of what I realized.
If
It was
you
just a bizarre
even if you
play.
just went 4x plus like a dead call, I mean, it should be like at least like 375. Two. Are there a lot of college students that play in these games, like a little rich frat boy types that play in these
That
games?
is exactly what it is. It's a lot of elderly
Mm.
gentlemen and a lot of young college kids. That's why
Ah.
it's a good environment.
Oh,
hmm
that's interesting. I'm trying to think off the top of my head.
hmm
Like what the fuck was the name of the frat that my friend was in? A lot of DU and I don't even know if
hmm
that exists, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. But all right, so 3 bet to 250 from the small blind. By the way, this is why you're incentivized to 3 bet in a three straddle game to knock some of these people out too. You know?
hmm
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So the under the gun plus one player, he flat calls and I call as well.
All right. So
The
the pot is what like
750.
seven? Yeah, 750 and change. Okay.
hmm
hmm
So the flop comes king of clubs, nine of spades, six of hearts.
King of clubs, 9 of spades, 6 of hearts. So you have middle set.
I do.
Okay. hmm
The small blind bets $300.
Small blind bets 300. Okay.
Under the gun plus one calls,
Okay.
and in hindsight, I mean, I made the call here instead of raising, which you know, I was iffy about at the time. I was playing a little bit above my stakes and felt, just kind of strange within the game, which is obviously not a good thing. But that's kind of the position I was in. So I wasn't really thinking about raising. I was just trying to see, just make the call here.
So you do have the obviously you have the you have the 9 of hearts here, right? Like there's two.
Yes.
Right. It's king 9 6 with 2 hearts. You've got nines with the
Also,
nine.
it's the king of clubs. King
King
of
of,
clubs on the flop.
oh oh sorry. So it's king of clubs, 9 of spades,
Nine of spades.
six
Six
of
of
hearts.
hearts.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, it's weird because it's a 3 bet pot, right? Like it's a 3 bet pot that's sort of multi-way, and if you raise, it certainly looks like you are very, very strong, especially with the guy calling in the middle. At the same time, you're somewhat deep, although I think you can probably continue to get a lot of, a fair amount of money in. later on, because, 369, the pot's going to be like 1650. You're going to have like 7,000 left. You do have two streets and you have position, but there certainly can be a lot of action killing cards that can come, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, usually when I'm playing live poker, really depending on like I would say, the players in the hand, I have absolutely no qualms about really fast playing quite a bit, like in different scenarios. I mean, I would probably raise here more often than just call, but I guess I could see the reason for just calling,
Yeah, the only reason I considered even just flat calling was because we were going multi-way in this position. The other thing that made me kind of regret it just was because we were playing a lot deeper. I mean, we're pretty much 800 big blinds effective. So I think would have been incentivized to raise, but hindsight's 2020.
Yeah. So you make the call.
So
right.
I make the call.
Okay.
The turn comes the 10 of clubs.
All right, so the turn is the 10 of clubs, which obviously now brings in the straight in the form of king jack. I mean, I don't know how often someone should have king jack here, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So the small blind bets again for 1,000. The under the gun +1 player again makes the call. And again, I make the call.
So 1,000 into what is 1650. It goes call, and also you call here too. So 26, 36, 40. So now it's going to be 4650, and you've put in like 50. So you've got maybe like 6,500 left, something like that.
Yeah, I think it's 6,450.
6,450. It's interesting now whether or not you could say that this might even be an overplay now. I mean, it's weird though, because it's a 3-bet pot, right? So Queen Jack is out there, right? Queen Jack is out there. You're losing the kings. You're also now losing the 10s somehow too, if the small blind was putting out some sort of multi-way protection bet. And 7-8 is now there. I'm not saying that you don't have the best hand here. I just think that with this turn card, it might be difficult to get a ton of action now from one pair of types of hands, which kind of lends itself to why you might want to raise, obviously, on the flop now here. So there's a lot of sticky cards here that can come at the end. 7 and 8, a queen, a jack, a backdoor heart. Obviously, you'd like to see, the board pair. But maybe now it's just a call and see what's going on here.
Yeah, exactly. At this point in time, just with 2 players still left in the hand, there's a very, very solid chance that I didn't have the best hand at this point. And that's kind of what I was thinking. I was really hoping to, just see a river here, instead of getting all the money in. Just because it wasn't the greatest card. The 10 of clubs is not the greatest card to see.
Right.
So
I agree with you. I mean, the other thing too is that, again, we don't necessarily think about waiting for safe cards, but there's a lot of things that can happen here too, on the river, if the small blind is structuring correctly, and who the fuck knows if the small blind structuring correctly, but you get a backdoor club here where somebody's firing and structuring correctly, and then it goes like bet large call, like on the 3 of clubs. Someone can have a backdoor flush here too, as well, right? With like some sort of broadways or something like that. All right, so you make the call, 4650. Let's go to the river.
Yeah, so the river is the 10 of hearts.
Interesting. So you make a full house.
Yep.
So obviously there's only one combo of quads now. You lose to kings, but you beat queen jack now in 7-8. I mean, I like this card. I like this card.
Yeah. It's a pretty above average card. That's
for sure.
So the small blind checks.
Small blind checks. Okay.
Under the gun +1 also checks.
Checks.
And I'm thinking, it was a weird spot, just a weirdly played hand. Like, I didn't really know what I could get called from here outside of ace king or a naked 10 that somehow made it to the river.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I think that the small blind could have, the small blind could have like aces. The small blind could have ace king. You can't be scared of monsters under the bed when it comes to, oh, what if someone's got kings full or something like that.
Yeah, of course.
It's interesting to evaluate the under the gun one, what he has when he calls the turn. So whether that's king X, or he's picked up some sort of backdoor flush draw, but that would have to be like a broad. The weird thing is that if you can visualize this, if you're watching, and again, if you're a CLP sub, I'll put it up in the notes. It's king of clubs, 9 of spades, 6 of hearts, 10 of clubs. So it's really hard for under the gun one to pick up backdoor clubs here, because the only straight draw that backdoor clubs, the 2 straight draws, they made it on the turn, right? Queen jack of clubs is a straight on the turn. 7-8 of clubs is a straight on the turn, right? He can't have king X of clubs. So I don't know if he's calling with a 9 in between, like 9X of clubs. So, I mean, I guess, is he calling the flop with like ace queen of clubs? I'm talking about under the gun +1. It doesn't matter because, I mean, none of those hands make it here at the end anyways. But, I mean, with the pot being 46.50, I'm definitely going to bet probably at least, I would say I'd bet 2,000 here. There isn't a huge front door here that's really missed, right, either. Like, there's no front door flush draw here that's missed. The sheer fact that you've overcalled the flop and overcalled the turn really should dictate that you do have something, although I guess it's possible that you could have missed backdoor clubs, but I might go 1,500 to 2,000. I don't think there's really a need to go like crazy huge here, you know?
Yeah, just because of the stack sizes, it's kind of awkward. But I did bet exactly 2,000.
Okay.
Yeah. So the small blind tanked probably the longest I've ever seen in live poker. Anybody tank. And he tanked folded.
Okay.
Under the gun +1, then jams for 64.50.
What? He jams for 64.50?
Yes.
So you bet 2,000 into 46.50. So that's 66, and now he makes it 64. So the pot's like 13,000, 4,000 for you to call. Is that about right?
Yep.
I mean, how can you fold? I mean, what are you losing
Exactly.
to? What are you losing to?
Exactly. Yeah. No, nothing. I thought, I was like, you know what?
It's a slam dunk call.
It's a slam dunk call.
It's a slam dunk call, right?
Much snap.
I mean, the only thing that you lose to here is pocket kings that slow played the flop that just continues to sort of call the turn, or if he peeled with tens on the flop with the guy behind, right? I mean, the small blind bet 300. The small blind bet 300 into 750. That's kind of an optimistic peel, but I just don't see how you can't have the best hand here. So you called? Did he have like 6-6 or something?
No. So it was almost him overplaying his hand. So small blind claimed to have folded 8 of hearts, 7 of hearts.
So small blind claimed to have 8
of hearts, 7 of hearts.
7-8 of hearts, which he 3-bet pre-made a straight and then check folded the river for 2,000.
Yep.
I don't know if I buy that.
Bizarre.
I don't know if I buy that, because I think that because you could be value betting like a 10 here somehow too, that you ran into like 100%. A queen 10. Yeah. Okay.
100%.
So what's the other guy have?
Exactly what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
So under the gun +1 had queen of clubs, jack of clubs.
Oh, that's I mean, that's awful, but
yeah. So I got bailed out on the river by, not playing aggressive on the flop.
And the reason why it's so bad for under the gun 1 to make that play is like, what is he getting called by? I have no idea. Like what tens do you? I mean, what tens do you have here? Jack 10. The problem is that a lot of the 10x that you would ever run into here, right? Which would be gut shots on the flop, right? He's blocking the 10x that you would have with his kickers, because queen 10 and jack 10, he's got queen jack in his hand, right? Right? That's really bad. I mean,
I mean, his hand was gorgeous on the turn. I mean, open-ended, straight flush, royal flush draw with the nut straight. But, when that board pairs, you got to think you're beat. And that's exactly what I was thinking in the moment. I'm like, what is he really trying to value jam for here? Like what would I call with that's worse, you know?
Was this a
So
was this a was this
pretty
a
nice.
was this a college kid?
No, it was actually an older gentleman. I would say he was about 70 years old.
By the way, the fraternity I was trying to think of was name is Deke. Does that ring a bell to you?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Deke.
I know
Okay.
kids that are in that frat for sure.
Are they?
Yep.
Is that still on Walnut? The house?
Yeah. You know what? I think it recently may have gotten moved.
Really?
Yeah, they've
What?
been moving around all kinds of frat houses and stuff. I
You
know.
know, because what's interesting about a lot of these like old private schools and their fraternities is that they have these national brands, and a lot of these national fraternities, like they own these houses that have literally been around for like hundreds of years. Like it's a whole fucking thing, you know? So you'll have like
Yeah.
one frat or sorority like renting from the national of somebody else. It's just a whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting for sure.
It's a whole thing in Syracuse. Anyways, thanks for the call. I appreciate it.